The Somali fraud scheme in Minnesota is so deep and so complex, even CBS News did a deep dive report on it. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk a little bit more about the Somali fraud scheme in Minnesota. Specifically, the Minneapolis area is where a lot of the fraud activity is happening, but it's happening all over the region. You got them in Wisconsin, you got them here, there, everywhere. It's not just Ilhan Omar. It's not just a few people in an indictment. It is a culture of scamming that is specific to the Somali community. Now, before I continue, not all Somalis do this. I understand that. You got regular, everyday, hardworking Somalis in Minnesota and all over the United States just doing their thing. However, there is a really big chance that you're going to be a scammer if you are Somali and you're in Minneapolis specifically. Did you know that Minnesota is number one when it comes to welfare benefits? Did you know that 82% of Somali households in Minneapolis are on some kind of welfare? Now, before I go any further, let's get straight into it. This is going to be Good Morning America with Gail King. Shout out to her. Then we're going to get to a few more videos of other people saying similar things, but from different perspectives. And of course, I will link to this video and everything else in the description box. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Exclusive details this morning of how people in Minnesota spend hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars on luxury cars and real estate. Now, this money was stolen apparently from programs that provided services to poor children. Many of the accused are Somali Americans, a fact that President Trump has used to criticize the broader community in general.
A honeymoon in the Maldives, a fleet of luxury cars. Here's a box with more than $270,000 in cash. This was all evidence from a new trove of files obtained exclusively by CBS News, showing how a group of convicted Minnesota fraudsters spent taxpayer dollars. One text message reads, "You are going to be the richest 25-year-old.
And don't forget the last part, inshallah. Okay, what that mean? Like Lord willing, God willing, or if Allah wills it to be so. But that's also a big piece of this, the Muslim connection. It's a really big piece of this.
5-year-old.
We're not even at the end of the beginning of our pursuit of the stolen money and of the people who stole it.
U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen leads the office digging into the wave of COVID-era fraud that hit Minnesota.
So how much money are we talking about stolen?
I can say with great comfort, well in excess of $1 billion.
In the past 3 years, 87 defendants have been charged, 61 convicted. The majority of them are Somali American. Minnesota has the nation's largest Somali population. The perpetrators are accused of ripping off state-run programs intended to feed low-income kids, house the disabled, and provide services to autistic children.
This was a get-rich scheme.
Andy Luger was the U.S. attorney who first examined this fraud. He left in January.
One of the things we discovered is that a number of the people involved were buying investment property, resort property in Kenya.
Wire transfers reviewed by CBS News also show more than $1 million went to Chinese banks.
So let's pause. Not only are the Somalis in Minnesota scamming the system and using the money in America on luxury cars and trips and whatnot, they're also investing the money in other countries. They're going to Kenya buying property. They got money in Chinese banks. They got all kind of stuff going on.
It goes behind a black curtain. It's hard to see where things went beyond that.
The Trump administration has said it's investigating whether any of the money fell into the hands of terror groups like al-Shabaab in Somalia. But both Luger and Rosen agree the evidence so far shows the criminals were only interested in getting rich.
There was never anything that indicated that this was linked to terrorism.
Somali leaders worry the community is being held collectively responsible. And this week, there have been ongoing immigration raids.
Well, look, at the end of the day, if there's a problem in your community and you guys aren't doing anything to address it, you guys aren't doing anything to fix it, and it's kind of ongoing, we got to see you as a collective, because that's where the problem is coming from. Although not all Somalis are going to be engaged in the criminality, there is a culture of that in your community that is not being addressed. Now, let's keep on going here. This is a handyman from Minnesota who's going to tell you what he has experienced dealing with the Somalis and the Section 8 homes that he works on. Let's watch.
I'm from Minneapolis, and Somalians are just part of the culture here. As far back as I can remember, I've always seen Somalians. And in these past 5 years, the population increased so much. It went from seeing them to them feeling like the majority a lot of places that I go. And also over the past few years, I've noticed that I see a lot of them with new cars. So I'm a handyman, and I worked on a lot of Section 8 housing to make sure they're up to standard. And one thing I've noticed when I go to these Section 8 houses, one, it's usually a Somali family. And what I mean usually, it's 9 times out of 10. And those houses usually have new cars in the front. I mean cars with an S, multiple new cars. And what I mean usually is like 8 out of 10 Somali houses, I've seen that. And I always wondered how someone on Section 8 can afford multiple new cars. I just couldn't put it together. So now finding out about this fraud stuff makes so much sense. And you know who I feel bad for other than me for paying for that shit with my taxes? Is Somalians who came here on the up and up and who didn't break the law. Because as a black man, I know how it feels to be judged because someone else with your same skin color did some stupid shit that you wouldn't approve of. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but one thing I do know is I've been saying for years we need to kick Tim Walsh out because he knew about this shit from the beginning.
Right on. So shout out to him, and he's right on point with that. It's rough to judge an entire community based on the actions of some, but there are a lot of people doing this. It is widespread, and he was saying it. Okay, I go to these houses, Section 8 houses. 9 out of 10 times, it's somebody's there. But also, 8 out of 9 times, 8 out of 10 times, when I go there, they got these brand new cars. Make it make sense. Oh, it's a fraud. And even if someone didn't get locked up, even if they're not being investigated right now, there's a sense that they're doing something wrong because you see the conditions that they're in. How are you in Section 8 homes designed for very low income people, poor people, but you got brand new cars and you going on trips and whatnot? Make that make sense. Make it make sense. You got the people in Minnesota who are not Somali in on it. You got the judges in on it. Let's watch.
A judge who tossed out a jury's guilty verdict in a fraud case is not the only judge in Hennepin County who had problems with the state's case. I broke this story that went national a couple weeks ago.
Now you see her right there. She's not Somali, is she? So I don't want to make it seem like I'm just picking on them. It's a collaborative effort.
Judge Sarah West acquitted Abdi Fattah Youssef 3 months after a jury found him guilty in a $7.2 million home health care fraud scheme. Since then, I've found that another judge, Amber Brennan, dismissed charges against Youssef's wife before it reached trial, and a third judge, Hillary Caligiuri, dismissed charges against another co-defendant. In that case, Caligiuri said the state had very little evidence. Judge West's ruling relies on a review standard for cases that rely heavily on circumstantial evidence with wording that is unique to Minnesota. It says that the evidence has to be inconsistent with any other reasonable hypothesis. I'm following a state Supreme Court decision expected to come back soon that could completely rewrite all of that. It's the conviction of Nick Firkus for the 2010 murder of his wife Heidi. Whether his conviction is overturned or affirmed, the court opinion will have a huge impact on many cases in the state. I'm Lou Ragoose.
All right, there we go. So you see what's going on here. The whole thing with the home health agencies, the home nurses, that's a really big scam they do. It's everywhere. They got a bunch of different things they do to scam the system. Now, I'm told that the migrants are here to work. They're here to benefit the USA. But what benefit are you to the USA if you're scamming? And again, it's not all of them. And it's not just the Somalis who are doing this by themselves. They're getting help from the whites or whoever may be in charge. If they think that the benefit that Somalis bring by doing the low paid jobs outweighs the scamming that they do. And if that's not the case, then I can't tell. It looks like the powers that be, Tampon Tim Walz, the governor, this judge right here, the white redhead lady, they're turning a blind eye. Oh, we don't see all the scamming and the fraud and whatnot going on with the Somalis because we need them to make the beds and pick the crops or whatever else they're doing in Minnesota. New slave labor. That's what's happening right here, in my humble opinion. And the worst part is that the taxpayers of this country, of this US of A, and of Minnesota, Minneapolis specifically, we are the ones, they are the ones paying for it. Really unfortunate, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about the situation with the Somalis out there in Minnesota scamming and the cover-ups behind it? Tim Walz and the judges and this person and that person, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is really crazy, really unfortunate. And I don't want to hear anybody talking about, oh, well, they're just trying to feed their family. Listen, last I checked, stealing was still illegal. What if I go and steal something from a store, I get locked up, and then I go to the judge and say, you know what, judge, I was just trying to feed my family. It's okay. Yeah, I knew I stole $200,000. I went to the Maldives. I had money in my pocket to go to the strip club, make it rain. Okay, I was doing all these things that I shouldn't be doing because it's a rhyme according to my religion. But look, don't lock me up. Don't arrest me. Don't do anything to me. That's what's happening right now in Minnesota. And again, it's not just the Somalis by themselves. It is a collaborative effort from people of all colors in the state. I wonder why. I think we know why. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.